Hey, it's Clay, and this will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 27th. Friendly reminder, the markets are closed on Monday for Memorial Day. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at QBTS. This has been a very popular one this past week, and it remains in the headlines and a lot of people talking about it. So I want to keep things updated here from the technical standpoint. And from the bigger picture standpoint, not a whole lot happened today. Now, I do realize that looking at today individually, yeah, quite a bit happened. It had this gap down, had this nice recovery, had this crazy move down here, came back up here. So yes, today individually, quite the eventful day. But looking at things from an overall sense, it's still basically stuck between the levels that I talked about previously. So on the good news front, this key area of support down here at 1750, it did get threatened during that opening 30 minutes right there, but to give credit where credit's due, the bulls stepped in a nice way and bounced the price back upwards. But then upon the price with the bounce in the upwards direction, then you can see this area up here at 1950, which you would expect as a key area of resistance. That's essentially what did act as resistance and press the price back down. So that's just my long way of saying, which I basically started off saying, yeah, from the bigger picture, the price is still stuck within this sideways channel. So that'll be the big question mark heading into the next week is who is ultimately going to win the battle. Do the bulls win the battle to the upside? Do the bears win the battle to the downside? All that remains to be seen. But as of right now, the price is still kind of just stuck between those couple areas. But from the grand scheme of it all, the price is still very much so in an overall uptrend. And assuming you care about the bigger picture and you're bullish, then yeah, the overall trend fully in the bulls' favor. Next one here, MLGO. And this is a tricky chart to talk about because it's all about perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within, 7 minutes after buying, well, from that standpoint, the chart is an absolute train wreck because, yes, there was a big old pullback from that area. With that being said, if you care about more so the bigger picture standpoint, the price is still hanging in there. How do I define that? Well, looking here at the purple line, which is the 50-period simple moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to keep on moving upwards. So if you want, and I like to call these trend lines for lazy people, but a moving average you can just use as a trend line if you want. Again, this trend line will draw itself for you. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above this uptrending trend line, well, then that by definition means the price itself is putting in higher bases, and that's what truly strong moves are going to do. So yes, I understand completely. You don't care about that purple line at all if you're a day trader that bought right there. I am making these comments from someone that cares about more so the bigger picture. So even with the bigger pullback today, the price does still have the opportunity to build a higher base. And from the bigger picture standpoint, that's how trends are constructed, all about building those higher lows. If the price does try to come back upwards, then definitely the main area of resistance right now is that famous 200-period moving average, the pink line right there. So keep an eye on that. But in my opinion, at least, top priority right now is not necessarily breaking any levels of resistance, but just ensuring the price continues to chip away and build those higher bases. So let's see if the price can continue to stay above that purple line next week. Next one here, RGTI. Talked about this one in the previous video and had this bull pennant. And a crazy move. I mean, really think about the price gapped all the way down here from the pattern. Came up here, broke the pattern, slight pullback, and then kept going up. So a pretty wild day today, especially relative to that pattern. It looked like it was game over for the pattern. And then all of a sudden, before you knew it, the price had broken back up above those areas. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those lines out as they serve their purpose for now. And we'll keep our eye on a couple of key levels moving forward. The one level that I think will carry some weight next week from a trend line standpoint. Whoops. Try that again. Is this area right here. So we have an uptrending trend line right there to keep an eye on. And then at the same time, we have a couple of key areas of support. The ideal level, I mean, if you say, Clay, what make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? I'd say, preferably speaking, if the price could stay above there, that would be a very, very impressive sign of power. But if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, then as I've already talked about, just watch that purple line, and as it moves itself higher and higher, as mentioned, it's like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So as long as the price remains above the overarching trend line, then overall, the price and overall trend is still in the bulls' favor. But overall, like I said, if it could stay above $14.10, that would be a very, very impressive sign of strength. But all things considered, RGTI had a very, very nice week. Next one here, looking at IMNN, and we have ourselves a good solid overall pattern. So let me draw this pattern into play. And I should note that I'm not saying or claiming that this is a great discovery or a special talent on my end. In fact, I think a lot of people have drawn something very similar to this pattern. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let me change this to green actually to represent the area of support. And then just to make sure everybody can see the pattern, let's keep it one color. So we have our area of resistance, we have our area of support, we have the nice big upwards move right here. And then for you golfers out there, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something is bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed if the price comes up here and breaks up through it, that break in and of itself is going to create additional buying pressure. But is it valid? Is it plausible to think that a break of that level right there could create upside buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So again, not guaranteed to happen, but a more than valid question to throw out there. So if you like this price range down below $2, you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one here, NVDA. This thing is hanging on, and it's very, very stubborn. Hanging on to what? Well, if you've watched past videos, then you know that the bottom part of this big old sideways channel has been 130-150. And yesterday on Thursday, you can see that the price was down below there, but it recovered. Today, the price once again was down below there, went even lower. But to be fair, once again has recovered and is now sitting right up at that area. So to be fair, the sideways channel, while looking weaker and weaker, it is still holding strong because the price is still within the area of 130-150. But that'll definitely be a key dynamic to continue to watch into next week. Is this price going to roll back over? Because if it does, then that is representing from the bigger picture standpoint that the price has lost control in the bearish direction of this former sideways movement. And if it loses that much more control, then while there are no guarantees, I don't think anybody would be shocked to see the price at minimum go down and test that pink line there, which right now is valued at the 126.30 mark. So keep an eye on that dynamic. In my opinion, that is, definitely the most interesting dynamic and important dynamic. Is the price going to maintain the bottom of this channel or not? Now, if it does try to bounce back upwards, first key battleground to watch very closely going to be that purple line there, that 50 period moving average, which you can see from back there on Thursday, rejected the price right back down there. And then from the overarching standpoint, the key level is 136.30, but that's getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves because first got to see if the price can even break above that purple line right there. But all things considered, it's doing its best to hang on there. But yes, that lower channel is starting to look weaker and weaker. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area. Or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to sign up. But like I said, if you're enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, we're looking at NVTS, and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because if you watched the previous video, then nothing has really changed because the price completely respected both levels that I talked about yesterday. So yesterday, the price was knocking on the door of this 522 resistance, but with the gap down here, clearly that level did ultimately hold as resistance. But on the flip side of things, even with the gap down, the price pulled back a little bit. I mean, it got close, but never even actually did technically test the bottom part of support that I talked about right here at $4.10. So yes, today, intraday, yeah, there's a gap down. It came back. So there was stuff that happened today, but taking a step back and looking at more of the bigger picture, not a whole lot happened. The price is still now officially stuck inside of this sideways channel. So I think that'll be the main question moving into next week is just how long will the price remain inside of this channel? Is it going to be an entire week of just choppiness back and forth, or is it going to get more direction? Nobody knows the answer to that, but we'll just have to sit back and see how it plays out. But heading into next week, again, 522 key area of resistance, top of the sideways channel, $4.10, key level of support, bottom part of the sideways channel. Next one, WOLF, and we're at a very, very, very interesting level, and this will mean more to those of you that have watched the past videos. But if you have, I've added in a couple areas of support. One was this trendline support right here, and then the other was this $1.41 mark. And you can see that right now as I speak, the price is basically right at those two key areas of resistance, or excuse me, of support. So the question in my mind, and I'm sure a lot of other people's mind, is just something simple. Are the bulls going to be able to weather the storm? Right now, the bears are banging on the door. Right now, the bears want to just shove this down through both these areas of support, which from a technical standpoint, not a good sign at all, assuming you're bullish, of course. But right now, the bulls, they're putting up a fight. They're battling. They're not letting any sort of separation. In fact, as I speak right now, you can see a green candle here is forming. So in my mind, that is the big kind of back and forth boxing match right now that we're witnessing is who is ultimately going to win out? Are the bears going to win out by pushing to the downside of this congestion point of support, or are the bulls going to get some sort of bounce in the upwards direction? Definitely grab your popcorn for Tuesday. Next one here, UEC, and good solid pattern. You've already heard me talk about this pattern though, so I'm going to go through a little bit quicker just so I can respect your time as much as possible. So we have our area of resistance right there. We have this trend line as support right there. And then just to make sure everybody can see the pattern, let's keep it one color. We have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big move up right here, we have the golf hole down here. So yeah, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So once more, if you enjoy this price range down below the $10 mark, you like bull pennants, here you go. Next one, QUBT, and yeah, you just heard me talk about it. So we're gonna, again, spirit of respecting your time. There's our resistance, support, and just because I can't help myself, let's make sure everybody can see it. Resistance, support, big move up, golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I'd say the biggest difference here is this one just happens to be a little bit of a higher of a price range. So we had a bull pennant down in the dollar range. We had one right below $5 to $10. Now we have one up above $10. So if you like bull pennants, then you have all sorts of choices headed into next week. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And really, I think what we learned this past week is that this 334.65-ish area, very, very strong. I mean, when you look at just the amount of times price was slightly below it there, bounced right off it, slightly below, bounced right off, a bit below, and then this morning, a bit below, and then once again, the price recovered nicely off that area. So yes, while it's not guaranteed to always be the case, it does seem as though the chart continues to tell us that there are lots of buyers hanging right down around this general vicinity of 334.65. Again, if it comes back down, no such thing as a guarantee. It will once again bounce. But would I call you crazy for buying down there thinking it could bounce? Would I call that some sort of random degenerate trade plan? No, I'd be like, oh, I totally see why you're doing that. Again, doesn't mean that it'll occur. That's why risk management matters. But I would not call you crazy at all. I totally get the logic. So as of now, the bottom of this channel continues to hold strong. In the near term, as I talked about in the previous video, got to watch that purple line there, which you now know is the 50-period moving average, and that played out pretty accurately today. Price came up there, got rejected right by that level. So I'm not saying that that purple line can never be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price did get rejected from there. So head into next week right there around the 342.50 mark will be that initial area of resistance. And then the overarching area of resistance is just going to be the top part of the channel right up there at 352.50. So all things considered, I'd say good day for Tesla given how it gapped down, had broken down below that level, and then did recover. And, you know, from an overarching standpoint, yeah, the price remains inside of this big old sideways channel. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool that I'm using, then definitely get signed up for the class next week. It'll be Thursday, May 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy, make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe and turn on the notification bell because I have been live streaming. So if you want to come watch me trade live, ask me questions, just hang out during the day, then I do that at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Sometimes I'm a little bit early, but you'll know exactly when I go live if you subscribe and turn on the notification. So if that sounds like of any interest to you, make sure you come check out the live stream. So thanks for watching. Make sure you get signed up for the free class, and everybody have a great Memorial Day.